Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Today, I have a very special guest in the studio with me today, and that is Isaac Hou, who's a busking juggler, but a famous one here in Taipei. He started off in Ximending, a very crowded, young people, attractive place, and he was there, juggling and doing his incredible performance for 4 years before he moved to a more upscale area, the Hsinchu district. Oh, I'm sorry, the Xinyi district. That's right. Well, anyway, let's welcome Isaac. Hi, Isaac.
Hello.
Hello. So, when was the first time you came to Taiwan? You said about 8 years ago, right?
The first time I came to Taiwan when I was 2, actually.
Oh, okay.
And again when I was 7.
Yeah.
But then the first time I came by myself was about 12 years ago. I was 19.
All right. That's very young to be on your own and everything. But what was your childhood like? You are a very active person, into acrobatic acts and, very daring kind of boy when you grew up? Because that's my impression of someone with what you're doing now.
No, I think I was active when I was growing up, but I wasn't particularly, when I was a small child, I wasn't particularly daring. I think I was afraid of a lot of things.
Really?
And then I think because I was afraid of a lot of things, at some point when I was just becoming a teenager, I decided I would try to do a lot of things which I was afraid of.
Yeah?
Physically, at least.
Yeah. Wow. Did your parents help you overcome these kind of problems, or it was like pretty much on your own, like that you got to grow up and, overcome all your fears?
My parents were busy doing their thing. They were providing us, me and my brother, a place to live and sending us to school. They did a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah. So your brother didn't kind of go along the same route as you in this street performance, and actually not street performance, it's world performance because you're traveling around the world.
No, my brother's an engineer.
Okay, so very different from what you're pursuing. Yeah. Now, you know what? You really stand out because, first of all, you're tall. You're apparently 183 centimeters tall. But on top of that, you're very fit. And you've got your shaved, this is like your signature, the shaved head.
I guess
Was
so.
that all part of the image that you want to project to people?
I think, I think it is. I shave my head mostly when I have to go work. If I'm not working, sometimes my hair can grow out. Sometimes I do.
Oh, really?
Do different things with it. But
okay.
It's it looks very clean. I think it looks good for the stage.
Because you know what? This thing about your shaved head and just the image you project, once people see you once, they can't forget you. And you probably don't know what impression you're making on people, on the public. They might not know your name, but they know that, they've seen you somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm very easy to recognize.
Yeah, so you started off in Ximending, and how did you decide you were going to
I like Ximending a lot.
Yeah.
The reason I stopped going to Ximending was because they repaved the floor there. And the floor
makes it a little harder for you to perform.
It became not so suitable for what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of bounced around a little bit, and I thought the floor and the people were good over there in the Xinyi district.
Oh, good. I mean, good choice.
I like that space now.
Yeah.
I still like the rawness of Ximending though. There's something. There's more. This may sound kind of strange, but there's kind of a lot of crazy people in Ximending. And you don't know what's going to happen exactly. Sometimes all sorts of crazy things might happen there.
Yeah.
It's more of an adventure.
Yeah. What generally are the audience impression, their reaction? What has been the most unforgettable reaction from some audience you've had before?
It's mostly when people come to me after the show, and one thing I remember very much was sometimes people are asking me when I'm going to be there next, and I can't really tell them concretely, because I can tell them if I definitely won't be there because next week I'm going to be in Mongolia or something like that. But if I'm going to be in Taipei next week, I don't know what the weather's going to be like that day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that space is going to be like that day, because oftentimes they have events there in that space. And it's difficult to find out what's happening there before it's actually, you go there, you see they're setting up a big stage and don't know what's going to happen. So this one man, he's always asking me because he wanted to bring his father up from Kaohsiung. And I said, well, I don't know, you're just going to have to try and see. And he came 2 weeks later and he said, oh, I brought my dad up last time and we were looking for you and you weren't here. And I apologized to him, and it kind of went like that for quite a while. And then one day, he brought his father there. And this man was probably in his 30s, his father was in his 50s.
Uh-huh.
And they were watching the show, squatting on the ground like kids.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really, there's something special there. Like his father had kind of the same. It was very, very interesting for him. It was the same kind of wonder that kids have. I think it's kind of special.
Yeah, I mean, just the sound of it, it seems like they know how to appreciate what you're doing. They know how to appreciate this form of art. That probably your performance pulled their relationship close together. Or maybe they originally had a pretty good relationship and then you pulled it closer. Yeah,
I think he really, the son really knew what kind of thing his father would really enjoy.
Wow.
And I thought it was really nice. It was very enjoyable for me as well.
That's very rare to have that kind of, father-son relationship, that you know what your father would appreciate. That really is rare.
I don't know if I would be able to.
With your father?
I don't know where I would take my dad. I would take my dad to some place that I like. And he would probably do the same thing to me, but we like very different things.
What are kind of places that you like? Oh, kind of getting off the subject here, but that's okay.
I don't know. I like capoeira. I like to see. I don't know.
Interacting with people.
Yeah.
In something that you're happy doing with together.
I can see a few things that my father and I would like.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of. I remember when I was a kid, I would like to go to they have those science museums for kids.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff you can touch.
Right.
We have. I've got a nephew, my dad's grandson, and I think he's not old enough yet to go to that kind of place, but maybe in a couple of years.
Right. Oh wow! So did you ever get to do that with your dad? One of those kind of science museums? Yeah.
I think he took us there when we were a kid. There's a place in New Jersey called Liberty Science Center. Mm-hmm. They have a very big expanding. I think it's like a buckyball.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
It's like a geodesic dome that has the ability to expand and contract. They have toys based on that now, I saw.
Oh, okay. All right. So, why juggling? Yeah, how did it all start? Was it something you watched on TV and you said, that's what I want to do?
No, I like to do physical things when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. The idea of being a performer was unacceptable. Like when I was growing up, I remember I had friends that were dancers, or I had friends that were doing theater. Yeah. It all seemed kind of a little bit ridiculous to me when I was growing up.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not really sure at what point it became a viable career kind of idea.
What was the very first thing you tried? Actually, you were working as an assistant to a juggler or something like that. Is that how it started? Was that how it started?
Yeah, that was how it started. It wasn't really my original idea. Wasn't that I was going to really make a spanning a few years career out of performing. I thought it would be a kind of traveling job. Like it would be better than picking fruit or being a bartender, I thought. Uh-huh. And I was in England, and I was cleaning a hotel. That was my job.
Right. I remember that part.
I was cleaning a hotel in England, and a friend of mine, she was an Israeli girl. She was doing fire shows. So I would help her carry her equipment. I would put the fuel in the cups for her to dip her stuff or something like that. And I could go and I could go out and have fun in the nightlife, because you don't make much money cleaning a hotel.
Right.
In England.
And besides, I mean, doing this was actually a lot more fun than cleaning hotel rooms.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to do anything then. At that time, I was 18, so I didn't. I could go out to the club and we could have some fun. I was her assistant, and I learned a little bit. And that's the first time I kind of got this idea that I could do that. But it didn't work out for quite a while afterwards.
Okay. So actually, you love traveling too. You've been around the world, but that was mainly for fun, not trying to find the right place to settle down and do your street performance? Or that was really just your other dream, which is traveling, just traveling?
That was when I was young. Because I grew up in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what else was in the world. My parents told me, like, I'd been to Taiwan when I was a kid, but I didn't have the language, so my time in Taiwan, my understanding of things was very, very limited.
Okay.
And my understanding of the world outside the U.S., even outside of New Jersey, was very limited. So I wanted to go and see. At the time, I was kind of being groomed to be an engineer.
Oh.
Basically, I was going to go to high school, go to university, and that. I think I would have enjoyed being an engineer. A lot of engineers seem to complain now that their jobs are very boring, but I was very curious. I thought there's something else besides going to school and being an engineer. I thought I want to go and see. Like, I'd read a lot of books, people that were doing other things. Like, there was other ways of like living your life, and there's people that value different things, and I wanted to see these people, and I wanted to experience those things.
Okay. This engineering part, was that like your parents' dream for you and your brother?
It wasn't such a great dream. I think it's just something that's...
They thought more practical?
Yeah, it was very practical. And I don't know, I think the way our minds work, we have kind of engineering kind of minds.
Yeah. You know, I think most people's stereotype about street performers is that, oh, it must be that, you guys don't really know what to do with your life, and this is something on the side, or...
Yeah, that's pretty true,
not making a lot of money. Yeah. But you overcame all that. In fact, you did more.
A lot of those things are... they can be true. A lot of people don't really know what they're doing. Not that many people, I think, really, when they're kids, they want to be street performers. But a lot of people come into contact with it one way or another, and they find they really enjoy it. Some people enjoy working on the stage. Some people enjoy working on the street. Some people
enjoy sitting at the desk and just work 8 hours a day or 12.
Yeah.
You have a lot to teach the Taiwanese kids and Taiwanese parents. Is that...
I don't think I have it.
No, in the sense that, parents, or rather anybody, should encourage kids to have their own dreams, pursue their own interests. Don't tell them that this is not going to work, this is not going to make money. You should be an engineer, or you should be a lawyer, you should be a doctor, because those things make money. I mean, there are kids who do that, but they weren't happy in the process.
Yeah. I think it's important to have balance.
Balance. That is so important to what you're doing, your art form.
Yeah, it's also important in your everyday life. I think it's important to have a kind of balance. I think even with myself, I think very often I lose track of what I'm doing. Sometimes you see your goals here, and then you break them up into little goals, and then sometimes these little goals obscure the greater goal. Yeah, I mean, the greater goal is to have a high quality of life. That's really, I think, everybody's greater goal, personally to have a better quality of life, or for your family or the people around you. And then sometimes people, they think, oh, if I had more money, I would have a better quality of life. And then they go around chasing money at the expense of their quality of life. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think everybody kind of falls into that trap at some time.
A point well said. Well, we're going to hear more about your wisdom about life and all that.
I don't think I have much.
Let's take a break here before we hear more of Isaac Hou's incredible life story. I'm Shirley Lin. My guest today is Isaac Hou, a busking juggler, a famous one here in Taipei. He really made his mark here in this big city. So you, so far that we've seen you performing on the streets, that I know of, are the seal wheel, which is a huge wheel, and you're actually inside this wheel, kind of holding on and, turning, spinning around and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. You must have, incredible muscle, strength to do that. And the other thing is performing with this crystal ball. You feel like the ball is just like up in the air, but, it's magical. Anyway, how did you decide on these two performances? Well, probably you've done others, but I've seen you do the seal wheel.
These are the ones I spent the most time working on.
The
developing.
wheel?
Yeah, the wheel and the ball.
Oh, okay.
And before that, also the fire. Yeah. I think because they're very simple things. They're kind of, they're very elemental kind of things. Like both the ball and the wheel, they're round. It's kind of it has no sides. It's as simple as you can be. You can turn these objects around in different ways and they look the same.
Well,
and
that's neat. Never thought it that way.
I don't know. It's something that appeals to me. The simplicity of it. It's like before doors were round. I think it's because it's kind of optically appealing. I don't think it must have been very complicated making the doors round like that.
So this wheel, it has to be tailor-made to your height?
Yes.
Yeah. It's made of steel?
It's made of steel, aluminum, and plastic.
Oh, plastic. That's interesting.
There's a thin coating of plastic, of PVC plastic on the outside. It's a sacrificial coat. It's like a, what do you call it? It's like a tire, basically.
Okay.
It adds friction. Otherwise, the wheel, the metal, would be grinding directly on the ground. And you can change it once in a while.
Oh, that is so neat. What did you have to prepare yourself physically, I don't know, psychologically, to do this thing? I don't know if people really understand the seal wheel. Can you explain better than me? What exactly you do?
It looks like a very large hula hoop.
Yeah.
And but it's the size of a man. And you can roll around it like kind of like a cartwheel, or you can spin around. You could also think of it as a big coin.
That's right.
Coin, yeah.
Yeah, you spin the coin, and then eventually it kind of flattens out. So that's what Isaac does with the inside the wheel. Yeah. So what kind of things are? Obviously, you had to do workout a lot every day to work yourself up to it.
No, I do most of my training in the wheel. Sometimes I do other things. I do mostly body weight kind of stuff. I don't do any weights.
And you actually went to schools, these kind of schools. in
I went to
Moscow.
school in Denmark and then
Denmark.
in Moscow, yeah.
You know, ignorant that I am, I never knew that there are such schools that really specializes in these.
I didn't know that either. I came to Europe, and that was the first time I heard that there was schools for circus people. I thought they were born into circus families, which is also the case. A lot of the artists are born to circus families. They actually even have a school in they have schools in the U.S. There's one in Florida. There's one in San Francisco. There's a school here in Neihu as well.
Oh,
like a
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you teaching some classes over there?
No.
You could, right? You're qualified.
They're pretty. I think they have a lot of teachers there already.
And besides, you're busy enough yourself, with your performances and everything. By the way, when you travel around the world to all these different cities, did they invite you to perform there, and that's why you went to these different places?
Yeah, I don't. Now I get a lot of invitations. So I just go where I'm invited. If I'm going somewhere else, I'll usually I won't take my wheel. It's heavy. I'll take my diving equipment and go to the beach. Because I can't take both.
Yeah. How did these companies find you? From waiting out for you where you're performing, and then do you give out your numbers?
Yeah, I give out my agent's number. I don't give out my number, actually. I don't like people to call me.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I called you the other day.
No, that's okay.
So these companies have been amazed at your performances, so they invite you to their company year-end parties probably, and like Christmas parties and everything. But they have to be big enough companies to provide big enough place, area for you to perform.
Yeah, the wheel has a lot more problem with it having a large enough space. The ball is not a problem. The ball, we need to do some. If there's good lights, the ball it will light up a lot nicer. But the wheel having a large enough stage it's an issue.
All right. So, then the crystal ball. What do you prepare yourself for that? I mean, you're just so perfect handling that ball. It's like a piece of feather. How do you do it so much practicing to master that? The what do you call it? The visual effect that you provide to the audience, to us.
It's a lot of the things are. To make a really nice external shape requires a lot of your consciousness. So the movement of the ball along the body has to be at that level where it can be done kind of semi-consciously, so you can be aware of the outer shape. If you have too much awareness of the placement of the ball, then you can't really be aware of what's happening with the rest of your body or the kind of shapes you're making in relation to the lights or something like that. So it's a lot of just having a lot of control over the ball, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Because I could imagine if you were to give me the crystal ball, I mean, I'm trying to roll it along my arm. I know it won't go far. So, and there are bones in between, in the elbows and everything. How do you,
You just go between the bones. You kind of get familiar with the path.
Really? And that means actually getting to know your own body then?
Yeah, I think it's a lot like, I've never played golf, but sometimes I read books about playing golf because I think the way that you train golf is a very good template for training other things. The kind of awareness needed.
Really?
I think it's kind of, you have to be aware when you're swinging the club back, aware of all the different parts of your body, how they're interacting, and you have to be coming down. And all the time, you need to have this awareness there.
Now, do jugglers generally just handle one crystal ball? I mean, I'm just curious. Does anybody handle two?
Yeah, they do 2, 3, sometimes more. When they do
crystal balls?
Yeah, when they do more, they generally do a lot more, kind of like the balls roll around like this.
Oh.
In a circle, kind of like that. Are they called baoding balls? I'm not really sure. There's like kind of, you see like the old Kung Fu master does that thing.
Yes.
With the balls. It's kind of like that. But sometimes they'll put a lot of balls in their hand.
But they're smaller then?
They're smaller then.
Oh,
they're not going to be as large as if you're working with a single ball.
How do you get the ball over behind your neck? I mean, that's balance.
Yeah, it's also a bit of inertia.
Yeah.
The ball kind of keeps going and then you kind of go around it.
Wow. Okay, well that is really neat. And you've also played with fire before.
Yeah, that's where I started.
Obviously, that's where you started. Obviously you burned yourself quite a lot too, right?
Yeah, I burned myself a lot, I think. I did a lot of really stupid things when I was getting started.
Is that why you shaved your head?
No, I didn't think I was really going to burn my hair. I'm
kidding. Okay.
Before I would burn all the hair off my arms. Now I think the hairs have become smaller since then, though.
Shorter. Now, because I understand that when you play with fire, they're actually dosed in oil, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So that's dangerous. But the thing is that that's the way to keep the fire, burning instead of going out easily. Now that's dangerous, handling oil and fire, isn't it? Because it's more easy to have accidents. I don't know. I just feel that.
No, I mean just with a standard. Usually they use kerosene.
Yeah.
Which is not. It's
kerosene. That's what I meant.
It's like diesel.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you spilled some kerosene on the floor, it has a very low. I think it's called burn point, flash point, something like that, or vapor pressure. I forget these terms now.
Okay.
But it needs to be vaporized before it will actually burn. So when you have it in a sort of tool, what's actually happening is that it's getting heated up and it's becoming kerosene vapor, and that's what's burning. So there's not an actual. It's the same thing as airplane fuel. Basically, airplane fuel is distilled from kerosene.
Okay.
But it's not explosive. It's not going to. If you drop some kerosene here, and you drop something in there, it's not going to light on fire. The match will go out instead.
Right.
Or like diesel as well.
Okay.
So it's not really. The danger is more just kind of long-term systemic danger that you're just breathing a lot of burning kerosene fumes all the time.
Oh.
It's kind of like a smoking cigarette. It's not really dangerous. You're not going to, unless you fall asleep in bed and light your bed on fire. But it is kind of a long-term danger to your health.
Yeah. All right. What's your next step with this pursuit of yours?
I have some. I'm not done with my wheel prop yet.
Oh, okay.
I still have a lot of things I would like to do.
On the wheel?
On the wheel. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing now.
What else can you do on the wheel? You're already doing amazing things. I mean, it's like you said, it's such a simple thing. And I feel like because it's simple, so to you it's not limited.
But I think it's kind of like if you have something that's infinitely complex, and you take even half of that or 1/100th of that, 1/100th of infinity is still infinity. I think it's kind of like that. Like you could juggle with anything as complicated as you can do with 3 balls. You can still do very, very complicated things with 1 ball. There's still no end to how. And I think it's not about complicated. It's kind of, but there's a few things that I find very interesting in the wheel, which I would like to, I'd like to work with.
Yeah, what would that be? Can you tell us? Can you try to explain?
It's not so much. There's a few movements that I'm working on, but it's more creating this kind of feeling, which I'm unable to create the feeling I want with the movement vocabulary I have. I want to, let's say like you're learning a new language and you want to describe the sunset or something like that. And you just don't have the words to really do it justice, that kind of thing.
So this thing that you want to try, this new thing you want to try, is it you, invented by you, or you've seen other people do it?
No, I mean, there's pieces here and there. It's mostly I see it in my brain, what I want to do.
Okay. Well, that is amazing. Well, I wish I could be there understanding, understand your wavelength here.
Yeah, I don't really know how, I'm not very good at explaining things, even in my
because this
mother
is
language.
No, but the thing is, this is all not using verbal language. It's through you're expressing through body and the art form. And do you perform to music or not?
Yes, I would perform to music.
Right, and music. Yeah. So I understand something like this ethereal. It's hard to explain. But you still going to stay on in Taiwan?
Yeah, I like Taiwan. My wife, she opened a dance studio here.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're sticking around for a little while.
All right.
We've been here for a while already.
Yeah. Where's the dance studio?
It's across the street from Taidian Dalo. It's called Bailalo. I don't know how to write that in Chinese yet.
Okay. Yes, Isaac, you met your wife did you meet her in Poland?
No, I met her here.
You met her here?
Yeah.
And she's from Poland.
Yeah, we were there last month.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. You like that country?
I like it very much.
You think you'll probably bring this, performance over there someday?
I don't know. We might move over there one day. I don't know if I'll be performing.
Well, you must appreciate the fact that you and your wife are still young. You can travel around. You can decide, today to live here. The next day you can move to another city, another country totally. So I think that's great. Pursue your dream. And what's bigger than what you're doing now? I mean, place-wise or beyond beyond company performances, beyond street performances. What's something bigger? Is there something bigger that you're thinking?
No, I mean, I think it's just having some kids and trying to raise them well. I think that's something that's very, very common, but it seems like a very big thing to me.
Good point made. Of course, that is something great to have. Yeah, have a family. All right, so wow, thinking about what this daddy can pass on down to his children. I mean, just the concept about life and everything, not just the art form. So, you think you're going to teach your kids?
Teach them what? Teach them what I do?
Yes.
I'll see if they like it. I mean, I think kids never like what their parents do.
Do you have a point there? Again. Thank you very much, Isaac. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and your stories. And gosh, I hope to see you around on, performing.
Yeah, I hope I have time.
Yeah.
I like the street.
Okay, that is great. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching, people. I'm Shirley Lin.